The Tennessee Titans did not make quiet changes. They walked into the offseason like a team tired of being treated like a free win. Nobody is talking about them like a real threat yet, and that is what makes this dangerous. Cam Ward went through the hard part first. He took the hits, heard the doubt, played through a messy offense, and still came out of it with the one thing Tennessee needed most: belief. Now the team around him looks different. Brian DeBole is here to fix the offense. Carnell Tate gives them a new outside weapon. Wan'Dale Robinson gives them a trusted slot target. Robert Saleh brings a defensive identity back to Nashville. And suddenly, this does not feel like a slow rebuild anymore. The twist is simple. Tennessee did not only add names, they added answers. Last season, Cam Ward had to survive too many broken plays and too many empty possessions. This year, the structure is finally there. Brian DeBole gives him a system with easier throws, cleaner timing, and real spacing. Carnell Tate brings size and big playability. Wan'Dale Robinson brings quick separation underneath. The offensive line has real pieces in front of him, and the defense has a front led by Jeffrey Simmons, Jermaine Johnson, and John Franklin Myers. That matters because a young quarterback does not need a perfect team. He needs a team that stops making his life impossible. That is why the AFC South should pay attention now, not later. The Houston Texans are still dangerous. The Jacksonville Jaguars are still a problem. The Indianapolis Colts still have talent. But Tennessee finally has a plan that connects on both sides of the ball. The quarterback has help, the coach has control, the defense has teeth. And the scariest part is that most people will not see it coming until the Titans start stealing games they were supposed to lose. But before this rebuild makes sense on the field, it starts with one question that decides everything. What did Cam Ward really prove when the situation around him was at its worst? Cam Ward did not get the soft version of the NFL. He got pressure, noise, doubt, and a team still searching for answers around him. That kind of season can break a young quarterback fast. But Cam Ward kept getting up, kept throwing, kept learning, and that matters more than people want to admit. The box score did not tell the whole story. The film showed a player trying to solve problems before the snap, after the snap, and sometimes with defenders already closing in. What stands out is not that every throw was perfect, it is that the game never looked too big for him. Cam Ward had moments where the pocket collapsed and he still found a way to make something live. He did not play scared. He did not shrink from the job. When the offense had no rhythm, he still tried to push the ball. When the easy answers disappeared, he kept searching for the next one. That is the kind of foundation a staff can build around. Now the conversation changes. This is no longer about whether Cam Ward can survive bad football. He already did that. The real question is what happens when the chaos gets removed, when the reads become cleaner, when the protection gives him time, and when the receivers are where they are supposed to be. Because if the worst version of Tennessee did not bury him, the improved version might reveal something much bigger. That is the new danger now. Brian DeBole changes the math for Tennessee because his value is not only play calls. It is the way he builds comfort for a quarterback who needs answers now. Cam Ward is not walking into a system that asks him to be a hero on every snap. He is walking into one that gives him rhythm, space, and throws that arrive on time. That is how a young passer starts playing faster without forcing the ball into danger. The reason Josh Allen gets mentioned is not because Cam Ward has to become the same player. That would be lazy. The real point is that Brian DeBole has lived through the process of turning raw talent into controlled aggression. He knows how to use movement, quick reads, and designed space to help a quarterback breathe. Tennessee needed that badly. Last season, too many snaps looked like survival. This season needs to look like order, and DeBole is here to bring that order. That is where Wan'Dale Robinson becomes important before the first game even starts. He already understands the timing, the language, and the spots Brian DeBole wants attacked. That gives Cam Ward a target who should be ready when the ball has to come out fast. It sounds small, but for a second-year quarterback, that kind of trust can flip a drive. And once the middle opens, the entire receiver room starts to look different. That is when Tennessee's new offense starts feeling hard to rush. The loudest change in Tennessee is the receiver room because now Cam Ward has different answers for different problems. Carnell Tate is the headline. He enters as a rookie with first-round weight on his shoulders, but his job is not to save everything alone. His size, body control, and route detail give Tennessee a target who can win outside and still work through traffic when the field gets tight. That matters because Calvin Ridley still forces defenses to respect the deep ball. If he pulls safety help away from the middle, the offense gets space it never had last season. Wan'Dale Robinson can live underneath, catch the quick throw, and turn a short gain into a useful play. Gunnar Helm gives Cam Ward another calm option near the numbers and in the red zone. None of these players have to be perfect. They just have to make the defense wrong in more than one place. This is the part people miss. A young quarterback does not grow because one receiver makes a highlight. He grows because the field finally makes sense. Carnell Tate can stretch the intermediate window, Calvin Ridley can pull coverage, Wan'Dale Robinson can punish soft zones. Gunnar Helm can keep drives alive. That is not star chasing. That is structure. And if the weapons finally fit the plan, the next question becomes whether the line can protect the whole thing. Because talent means nothing if the pocket keeps collapsing before those routes even break open cleanly. The offensive line is where this whole story either becomes real or falls apart. Peter Skoronski is the steady piece, the blocker Tennessee can trust when everything else gets loud. He is not the flashy name casual fans rush to talk about, but inside the building, he matters. A quarterback can feel when the middle is firm. Cam Ward needs that feeling more than any headline signing. The edges also matter in a different way. J.C. Latham moving back to the right side gives him a chance to play where his body and background fit better. Dan Moore Jr. gives Tennessee a left tackle with real starting experience. That does not make the group perfect, but it makes it more believable. The biggest upgrade might be communication. Austin Schlottman gives the front a center who knows how to set calls, calm traffic, and stop confusion before it ruins the snap. Then comes the right guard fight, and that is where the season gets interesting. Cordell Volson brings veteran strength. Fernando Carmona Jr. brings rookie size and competition. Jackson Slater adds another young body pushing the room. This is not about building a famous line. It is about building a line that gives Cam Ward a fair down. If he gets that, the offense can finally stay ahead of the sticks, and the defense does not have to carry every Sunday alone. That balance is exactly where Robert Saleh wants this team to live late in tight fourth quarters all season. Robert Saleh gives Tennessee something it badly needed: a defensive personality that feels clear from the first snap. His best units have always played fast, attacked with the front, and made quarterbacks feel the rush before it arrived. That fits this roster because Jeffrey Simmons is not a background piece. He is the force everything can rotate around, the kind of interior defender who changes blocking plans before the ball is snapped. The new part is what Tennessee placed around him. Jermaine Johnson brings burst off the edge and a history with Robert Saleh from their time with the New York Jets. John Franklin Myers brings power, length, and familiarity with this defensive language. Gus Bradley gives the staff another experienced voice, but the tone of this defense belongs to Saleh. That matters because players do not only need calls. They need belief in what the call is asking them to become. The back end also has a different feel. Alontae Taylor and Cordell Flott give Tennessee corners who can compete with confidence outside. That helps the rush because coverage and pressure feed each other. If the quarterback has to hold the ball for one extra beat, Simmons, Johnson, and Franklin Myers can turn a normal down into a problem. This defense is not being built to survive. It is being built to squeeze games until one young player makes the next leap. And that young wave is where Tennessee's draft class starts to matter sooner than expected. The rookie class is not just a future plan for Tennessee, it is a pressure point for the whole roster. Carnell Tate arrives with the loudest spotlight because top picks always do, but the class does not stop with him. Keldrick Falk gives Robert Saleh another edge body to mold. Anthony Hill Jr. gives the linebacker room speed and range. Nicholas Singleton gives the backfield a burst that can change a tired fourth quarter. What makes this group useful is patience. Tate does not have to catch everything in September. Falk does not have to play like a finished pass rusher right away. Hill does not have to run the whole defense on day one. That is healthy team building. The Titans can let young players grow inside real roles instead of throwing them into chaos and hoping talent fixes everything. That was the old problem. This version feels more organized. The deeper names matter too. Fernando Carmona Jr. can push the guard room. Pat Coogan can compete at center. Jaron Kanak adds tight end size and special teams value. Jackie Marshall adds another body to the defensive front. Nobody needs every rookie to hit at once. Tennessee needs 3 or 4 to become useful fast, then 1 to become a surprise. If that happens by midseason, the Titans stop looking like a rebuilding team and start looking like a problem on the schedule. That is when the AFC South pressure starts feeling real for every team waiting ahead. The division is the final test because nothing in the AFC South comes easy now. The Jacksonville Jaguars earned the top spot last season. The Houston Texans were right behind them. The Indianapolis Colts stayed dangerous even while their year turned uneven. So Tennessee is not walking into an empty room. The Titans are walking into a fight where every team already believes it has a reason to win. That is why the schedule feels so important. Opening against the New York Jets gives Robert Saleh an emotional first test in Nashville. Then the road tightens quickly with heavy opponents and early pressure. The first meeting with Houston comes before the season can settle. The Jacksonville games arrive in the middle of the year, right when real teams show what they actually are. The Indianapolis matchup late in the season could carry the kind of weight that changes how people judge this rebuild. So the goal is not to crown Tennessee before the games are played. That would be fake. The goal is to understand why the Titans are no longer harmless. Cam Ward has a better plan. Brian DeBull has real pieces. Robert Saleh has defenders who fit. Jeffrey Simmons has help. If Tennessee reaches 8 or 9 wins, the whole tone around this franchise changes. And if Cam Ward makes the jump, the AFC South will realize the Titans were not rebuilding quietly. They were loading up while nobody watched. That is the real warning for everyone here.